We are moving on to the next panel. How to build a great board of directors for early stage. And for this, we have Javier Artiac from Conexo Ventures. He's going to moderate, and with him, they are Helena Torras, managing partner of Pau Capital, Sonny Bates, CEO and co-founder of Sonny Bates Associates, and Enrique Penitet, the Draper B1. Thank you. All yours.
Bueno, luego se llena. Pues siempre pasa, se salen y entran. Bueno, ahora vendrá.
Hola, good morning. How are you today? We would like to start, and first of all, I will like to thank you, Startup Valencia, the city of Valencia, to bring us to this very nice atmosphere and place, no? Amazing. Thank you very much, and we would like to talk about how a company, how a startup, seed or a growth startup, scale-up startup, will be helped by a board of directors, no? Or a board of advisors. And what are the roles that they should have, those people who will help the startup? I would like to introduce you first, Sunny, which comes from California.
Actually, I come from New York.
New York.
I spend a lot of time in California, but I come from New York City.
And she also like to help people, to join people, to bring people on board, to try the startups, the people, the companies to grow and be connected with nice people, not nice entrepreneurs as well. Then we have here Helena, is from Pau Capital. Also in her statement of the profile, also she offers help and connections in order to help the startups. And finally, Enrique, which also is helping through innovation, through connecting people as well. Then let's start, because in Conexo also we are a hands-on venture capital, and we like to connect people and connect startups with capital, etc. Okay, this is very good. Let's start. And I would like to, first of all, introduce yourself and make what are you doing, how you can help the startups. Helena, please.
So very, very fast. I've been entrepreneur, I've been business angel, and now I'm investing international money here in early stage startups. I'm also been board director of a fund of funds. So having been in all the places, I can understand really the ecosystem. So I've been there. That's how I can help the startups. You know, if I've been in your shoes, I can really empathize and be there. And also with money.
My name is Sonny Bates, and I have been a headhunter, basically a recruiter for 30 plus years in the world of digital businesses. I've been a board of directors, member of a board of directors, probably 6 different boards of directors over the last 20 years. I'm also, if you want to talk about boards of advisors, I'm on about 20 boards of advisors, which are somewhat different because you don't have fiduciary responsibilities. So, and I also do recruiting for boards of directors.
Thank you. Enrique?
Yeah, I'm Enrique, founding partner from Draper B1. We are a venture capital, really early stage. We usually are the first venture capital entering in a startup that we invest, and we lead the investment. We are part of the Draper funds all around the globe, so we have some global services in San Francisco, and the alma mater is Team Draper. And yeah, we have right now alive in the portfolio like 70 companies, because early stage is about diversification. And I've been part of, I don't know how many board of directors, most of the time as an observer, because we prefer to be as an observer. And yeah, we can talk about this structure later. So
Okay, and then I would like to introduce myself. I am founding partner of Conexo Ventures. Conexo is a VC that is helping the companies to scale up in USA. And we have two partners, one in San Francisco, one in Boston, and we have scaled up 3-4 companies in there, and two of them, they are only a 1 billion value company. In my personal career, I am board of director of several companies in Spain, and I was the CEO of an international company based in London, and I was responsible of, probably I will say irresponsible, of Latin America, north of Africa, and Spain. Okay, let's start with the first question, which is very, very funny. Depending on the state of the company, board advisor or board of directors, what are the difference and what are the roles that those type of advisor will provide and handle with the startup altogether? Enrique, you first.
Well, as I said before, we are really early stage investors, so you have a really engagement with our entrepreneurs. So we call ourselves like human venture capital, because we like to have this relation like it's really human. It's not a relation between a venture capital and a startup or between two companies. It's people with people. So what we like is that we like the entrepreneurs to feel really comfortable. And so in that stage, it's kind of like we become what in Spanish we said, investor de cabecera, no? That they call us whenever they want, even Fridays at night or whatever, so the CEO and the founders can ask you for and share their problems. And we don't feel that at that stage is needed to have this regular board of directors. And later on, I mean, when there is some other investors, some other like people around and of the company and so on, we recommend more the advisory kind. It can be called a steering committee, advisory board, or whatever. Actually, it's usually really informal. It's not like in the US. So it's really informal. We would like the people to be really comfortable, like talking to friends about their problems and how can we help to them. And so we recommend in that stage to find people that you actually can learn from and can really add value. And yeah, and when we have some companies that are in the later stage, of course, there is board of directors. So,
Sunny, what do you think?
Well, I think that that a board of advisors is a great way to add credibility and to have access to the kind of talent that you wouldn't be able to hire because you couldn't afford it initially. So I think for an early stage company, and depending on the governance structure of what you have, a board of advisors is a great way to start. As you get into a more formalized structure or a C Corp, I don't know the equivalent in Spain, but as you get into a more formalized structure, as more people bring in formal money, they typically will want a seat on the board. I think at that point, same thing, you're looking for someone who's really going to be a working board member. I think you really want someone you can press into service in the middle of the night when you're in a panic, when you most need them. But I think that the board of directors has fiduciary responsibilities. So essentially the executive team, the CEO, reports to the board, which is different from a board of advisors that you can lean on in all kinds of ways that I think can be hugely useful in an early stage company.
So they already said it. I agree completely with what they say. So to bring another thing over the table, I've seen how a board can destroy a company or can save a company. So really, really early stage, don't put a board on the table. Just have an advisory board, people that are really ready to be hands-on, to really help, because there are a lot of startups that says, this is my advisory board, but they maybe talk 5 minutes in a year with them, but they just use their name. Okay, if this is helpful, okay, but what is really, really helpful is that these people that are really worth it dedicate time and that you can call them anytime. So that will be on the early stage. Later stage, as Sunny was saying, they can request a board. I mean, investors request a seat on the board. My recommendation at that point will be include independent board members. So not only the fiduciary board members, include independent board members. So there is really good discussion over the table. And the second thing for this kind of boards would be dedicate a teeny moment for the past and dedicate almost all the time for the future. Because boards are about the long term, not about the short term. Obviously, if there are important crisis situations, you can talk about that, but don't talk about the past. Reports are to look at home, not to discuss over the board session.
Thank you.
Just to add one final thing, so regarding this, it's kind of like, look a lot what people you are choosing as an investor, as an advisor, because you actually want a really good vibe in those meetings. You have to feel like, you have to be in liking to be with them and talk to them, like expecting to have that meeting and not be so nervous and so afraid of having the board. So you need to be in a good vibe. And have
Smart money is better than no money. It's really true.
Completely.
Yeah, right? A bad board of directors can really ruin your day.
Yeah.
The day or the company even.
Indeed,
I've seen that.
absolutely, yeah.
Yes, but then in order to avoid this, you need to choose perfectly your board of directors or your board of advisors. Let me shake a little bit this question, which is an example that we have in our venture capital. It is a Spanish company that migrated to Delaware, that was lead the round by an American very important VC with 7 million, and then two Spanish VCs, one in the north of Spain, All Iron, and Conexo in Spain. And the thing that they have prepared is a board of directors with the two key people in the company, the president of the company, which is the leader investor, and then we, as following investor, we are people that we go to the board with no vote, but we are advisors. We can talk and help them in whatever help we can provide, no? And I think that is a good formula for early stage company in order to prepare the Series B of the company or the large series when you will have a real proper board. This is my point of this. Okay, then the second question is what the key roles about the board people or the advisor should have in order that it was said before in the previous meeting that we need to understand the entrepreneur, we need to understand the startup and find the right people in order to provide them with the solution that they need. This is important. Once we have defined this, what are the key roles and the key functions that the board advisor or board of directors should have?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Helena.
Okay, I was like, okay.
Jump right in there.
Jump.
Okay, so I think first is for what is the board, no, the role of the board. And if you are talking about the board, you already have the investors, so you are not choosing. The first thing I would say is when you are fundraising, ask who will be your board director before. And if you don't like the person, before you sign, try to reaccommodate very kindly that it's not noticed, but afterwards you will not be able to do it. And they will be there for a lot of years. I mean, so better to have a great relationship with them. And the roles, so these roles are already defined. They have an interest in the company. That's why I'm strong on saying put some independent, and because they have, the board have to be not a cost entity. So not something that you are working for them, they work for the company. Once you understand that, they have to bring value. You have to go out from the board saying, okay, that was worth it. the meeting. So the independent can bring knowledge to that. They have to challenge you to be better than you are. They have to help you on your issues, and they have to help you not focus only on the after the day of tomorrow, but on what's next. And you have to talk about strategy. So deciding what you have to look for board directors that complement your skills, the team skills, and that have the ability to look further in a non-executive role, because this is very important. Non-executive. They are not executive of the company.
I'm going to follow up with exactly with that, with actual titles and domain expertise, because I'm a headhunter. So finance skills, it's great to have somebody who really understands finances, and particularly around the deals and financial engineering and structuring gets to be very, very important. Talent, so it's a person who understands talent, HR recruiting, culture is super, super important as we are now in this war for talent, to be able to understand what makes a great culture, how to begin to sense if something, if you're in a death spiral, you really want to understand that. Technical chops, the best technical advisors you can possibly get you want, because they will be able to attract people to it. Domain expertise, market expertise, sometimes communications, marketing communications. We had the press group right beforehand, really understanding that, because that's the difference between success and failure oftentimes. And then certain cases, regulatory, if that's appropriate to what your organization is. So those are just some of the thoughts. Over to you, Enrique.
Yeah, not so much to add, because it's as you said, but so depending on the company, because we had some company that, okay, one of the founders already was a really great CFO, so they really have this really structure, so they didn't really need anyone in finance that much. Or in some other company that we have is an HRT tech, the guy came from human resources, so he had the knowledge in order to access talent, but he lacked the other thing. So it depending on the company and the strengths of the team, maybe you have to look what is complementary to yours. And the thing is that you have to find people that is been there, done that. So people that you are putting on board that already done what you want to do in the future. And so, as you said, talking always about the future, align the vision, the strategy, and at the end of the day, you have to cover the other three pillars that we talked. That is fundraise. So most of the investors can help you on fundraise because we know each other, like all of them. Then hiring talent, as you said, that in order to scale, you need access to people a lot, and then. In the sense of business development, in most of the cases, it's difficult that investor, if it's a generalist, can help you on that. So it's good to find people, in the independent or advisor or whatever, that can help you in your specific sector. So that way you more or less cover all the parts that you said, right?
Hey, thank you. Great answers. Question 4 and 5 was already answered right now. Then let's move to the 6th question. But before this, I would like to put a statement which we need to think about this, and you will need to understand this and apply this strictly. The difference between governance and managing, okay? Governance is to set up the strategy, the future of the company, the control of the company, and the responsibility of the company. And managing is to lie down or put on the field what the board of directors said, no? Or want to follow the objective. Then here are 2 questions. Should we introduce into the board the directors of the company? One question. And the second one is, should the board of directors have equity in the startups?
I was going to say, I've got a real strong opinion about the second one, but give me the first question again.
The first question is the key directors of the company
Yes.
should be part of the board as advisor, as people who knows how the company goes, or not. This
So,
is the,
so the executive team,
the
you're saying,
executive team,
right?
yes.
Okay, yeah.
And then the second one is equity for the board of directors, yes or not?
Okay, so I think that typically you want the CEO on the board and you want them to have a voting position. Anything beyond that, I think it's up to discretion of the board and depends on the type of the organization. Sometimes the general counsel, if it's a larger group, would be a board member as well. I think that in the U.S., it's absolutely typical for board members to be paid. It's also typical for board of advisory members to be paid. The way that they're paid in our pay scale is somewhat different, but it's typically in warrants. It's $100,000 worth of options. Up to 50% of that is in cash. I would say in the EU countries, it's anywhere from a third to a half of that. For board of directors to be paid, because you're asking people to really be on call and to really be present to service. You typically at the most important times. So I would say yes to that. And the board of advisor warrants are much smaller typically, and I could get those. They're tenths of a percentage.
Thank you.
It depends, and they vary. They're not necessarily typical across.
Helena, time is more or less off.
Okay,
Let's
so
go.
executive team, no, they can be invited to some sessions, but not as voting member. And then I think compensation, it depends so much in the later. It's not, the investors should not be compensated for that. It's their job. But independents, yes, they should have compensation, and it depends on each case. You can give a small part of share of BSOP, which is not official shares, or cash compensation.
Thank you.
I mean, every time that we have a startup and there is someone that is called advisor and wants to be advisor, what we recommend here in Spain is kind of like, okay, if he's actually so much in love, make him at least to invest a small amount so he's engaged. He's actually not just coming here to be paid or to have a stick here like, okay, I'm part of this advisory board. Right? Because if not, there is a lot of people around and going and try to get equity for free or whatever. So it's good that if you are really, really good founder, to really involve that people that you want that, okay, I like this guy, I want him to be my coach, my mentor. So just get him a small ticket in the company so becomes actually engaged and be part of the board if needed.
So skin in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Skin in the game is essential, and this is how they will be part. The advisors or the board of directors be part of the team, no, of the project. Thank you so much for being with us today. And let me finish that I strongly recommend to have around you key people. Doesn't matter if it's board of director or advisor, key people that help you to grow, to find talent, to drive you finance.
Nice.
We are going to do ¿cómo se dice? A selfie. Thank you so much.